You may have seen people talking online about this winter arc, and while I didn't really jump on the bandwagon back in early October, I think I might be starting a late and very gentle winter arc starting in November. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about why that is, and then also what a winter arc is and how I'm going to define it and approach it. So the winter arc is basically the last quarter of the year, this period from October 1st to the end of the year. It's an opportunity that people are taking to basically kind of like get a jump start on their goals, their fitness goals, lifestyle goals, eating goals, weight loss goals, like productivity goals. Typically, we would all wait for the new year. We would start our resolutions on January 1st. Winter arc is all about like living your best life, being your best self for these last 3 months of the year. As it's starting to get a little colder in a lot of places, the days are getting shorter. It can be kind of like easy to fall into this like slump. And then before you know it, it's like the winter holidays and just all this time has gone by and maybe you haven't been finishing out the year in the way that you would want to. And I've never been someone who has been super about extremes. It just doesn't really work for me. Like, I don't think it's sustainable for most people. Maybe you do have a personality where that works better. I always get like this rebellious streak when I'm done something where I'm like, if I do like a low spend month, then I'm gonna like overspend the next month. I'm super disciplined while I'm doing it. I just can't seem to carry over any of that energy into after it's done. So I kind of want to talk about like what brought me to this moment of like deciding I kind of want to lean more into the winter arc, because initially I was seeing a lot of people posting about it and I was like, ugh, no. The way that I've seen it being done, it seems really extreme, and I'm not speaking for everyone. Like, maybe that's not the case for a lot of people, but the creators I happen to have seen have all seemed to be taking a pretty like strong approach. And that just is not what I need right now. Like, I know myself. As the days are getting shorter, we're losing a lot of natural light. It is getting cold in Canada. This is not the time for me to be like trying to kick it into high gear. But as we are getting towards the last couple months of the year, I have been doing some reflecting and realizing some things about 2024. In some ways, this year has been really positive for me. It's been a year where I've, been able to recover from a lot of things that had happened in the last couple years. And so 2024 has given me a lot of just space and time to heal, recover, go to therapy, get myself back in like a good place. But it's also been a really challenging year at the same time. I'm not going to go into a ton of details because most of it affects other people, and on here I want to be careful that I'm really only sharing things from my POV or I'm sharing my stories. So I will just leave it at saying that my family has been through a lot this past year. We've had a death in the family. Suffice it to say that, this year still, although it's been better and it's finally given me some sense of stability, like with my work, with my career, with my personal life, it hasn't been the easiest year. As much as I've been doing my best to cope with everything as it's been coming, I think I was maybe grieving more than I think I really realized. As much as I've been trying to do a better job about like feeling my feelings and going to therapy and really trying to like, go through grief rather than just trying to push everything down, which is probably what I would have normally done. I don't know that I've done the best job. A lot of it is because we all still live under capitalism and there's not a lot of time to process things when you get like 3 bereavement days a year, or when you have to rush right back to work and life is busy and everyone has a million things going on. And so it's that's just, it is what it is sometimes. So that doesn't leave people a lot of time and space to process their feelings or their grief. So I think what ends up happening is that a lot of us feel very disassociated from our feelings. We turn to cheap and easy coping mechanisms like scrolling on social media or drinking or, whatever it might be. And I think I have really been falling into that this year, which is hard for me to say. The pandemic was sort of like the first dent in all of that. I think that really impacted a lot of us in terms of our routines, our habits, how much we were eating, how much we were drinking, how much we were exercising, like all of those things. And I think I was, starting to claw my way back from that. And then 2024 just has personally been a year that has really set me back. And honestly, I've really been beating myself up over that because I like to think I'm someone who can do and has done hard things. You know, I did quit smoking. I've really done a lot of work on my relationship with alcohol. Years and years ago at this point now, many years ago, I lost like a bunch of weight and I kept it off for a really long time. So this year, as I've been struggling with, I've really been kind of hard on myself. Sort of berating myself. And everyone's different. Maybe that kind of self-talk is effective for you. And I feel like it used to be for me, but the problem with that is that even when I was doing it and even when it was technically working, like even when I was losing weight, I was talking to myself that way and I still hated myself even when I was at my smallest. And I just don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be berating myself. You know, it's already been a hard enough year. It's already been a hard enough 3 years. It's already been a hard enough 5 years, like basically since 2020. And so I don't think what I need right now is to be really mean to myself. I don't think that's going to help. It certainly hasn't been helping. But at the same time, I, do want to start focusing on myself a little bit more again and start actually taking care of myself. I am finally getting to a place where I'm getting a little bit fed up with myself. I'm getting fed up with how I'm eating and how I'm taking care of myself or not. I'm just kind of over it. I'm sort of over myself right now. It's not to say that, I don't understand why I've been doing it. I understand why I have been using these things to cope. And I think that's very normal. So if these are things you also struggle with, like, I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. I think we all have our vices. So I really want to come at this not from the angle of like, okay, now like you need to like get on your shit, Kate, and like get it together, like do 75 hard and like just be really like aggressive with it. Just need a little bit more of a soft approach right now. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do for November and December. I'm going to be focusing on my health and myself and my wellness, but in a way that is practical, sustainable, while I'm, working full time, doing this on the side, trying to also have like a personal life. So I'm going to walk you through a few of the things I'm going to be doing. I'm going to get back to habit tracking. This has always felt like a really gentle, easy way to try to build and stack really small but positive habits. I like using physical pen and paper. It really helps like hold me accountable. So you basically can write in like any habits you want and you just check it off as you go. You cross off each day that you do it. So I have things on here like flossing, reading 10 minutes, like you can put whatever you want in here. So I need to add many habits because I've fallen off with a lot of these small little tiny things that you have to do to take care of yourself. So I'm going to add a whole bunch of habits for the months of November and December. I still obviously have those 2 months blank and I can fill it out however I want. You can also add in like weekly and monthly habits as well. Some of the habits I'm going to have are going to be things like flossing, maybe like meditating, even if it's just for like 2 minutes, beauty, self-care, like skincare routine, taking my meds, maybe reading. And again, my goal with the habit tracking is never to like have perfect streaks or to like, I never miss a day. The goal is that like, if I'm tracking, then I will just naturally do all of these things more. And it's not to be absolutely perfect and be like, I did my skincare every single day. It's just like, right now I've been in such a, there have been points over the course of this year where I've been in such a low place. So in those situations, it's like, well, it's better to do my skincare routine half the time than not at all. So to me, this is not an all or nothing thing. It's not meant to be like perfect or like if I miss a day, like that's the thing, even with like 75 hard, the thing where like if you miss a day, you have to start all over again. That's so bonkers for me. And that kind of thing just does not work well for me. Kudos to you if it does. I really do think that's incredible because it takes a ton of discipline. So getting back on the habit tracking game for the last 2 months of the year, I also feel like that's a nice thing to do to kind of like go into the holidays to maybe make sure that I'm focusing more on just eating better, drinking less, making sure that November and, you know, most of December has been really positive. That's kind of like why I did like a sober-ish September this year as well. I think I drank twice in September. So that was really nice too. And again, that was just like a reset after the summer. And then finally, in terms of actual things with like eating, dieting, weight loss, exercise, I don't really believe in strict dieting. I'm not gonna do anything like that. I'm just not about it. But that being said, I am gonna be a lot more mindful about what I'm eating and consuming. So some small immediate steps that I've taken are I've set up a delivery for a produce box every week, because even that I realized I just wasn't eating any fruits or vegetables. Like I was still kind of feeding myself, but I really was not getting nutrients, was not getting well-rounded meals. I've just really fallen off with these good habits that I'm usually pretty good about maintaining. So I'm gonna get this produce box delivered weekly. That way I don't even need to think about it. I don't need to go to the store. I don't need to think about what I'm gonna order in my like it's just gonna turn up. Another thing I did starting this week was I ordered a HelloFresh box. Again, just to really gently get myself back into cooking proper meals, because I had really fallen off with that and I was getting really overwhelmed by the thought of having to shop and meal prep and meal plan and cook and then clean up. I saw a HelloFresh promo. I'm gonna get a few weeks of HelloFresh boxes. That way I'm cooking a lot of my meals at home. I'm actually getting protein with all of my meals. Just slowly getting back into some good habits. So I'm not dieting. I'm not like doing anything super strict. My focus is like really additive. It's adding things in. It's adding protein and adding fruits and veggies. I'm still gonna eat sugar. I'm still gonna more or less eat what I want within reason. I am kind of tracking calories for a few days just to like recalibrate and make sure I'm eating the right amount for someone my size, you know, to making sure I'm kind of getting in that ballpark of 1,800 or 2,000 calories a day or whatever. Again, I really don't like the idea of like tracking long-term or anything like that, but I have been able to successfully in the past, you know, at least just kind of track my macros for like a couple days and just like kind of make sure I'm in the right ballpark again. But with that, I also just want to make sure that I'm actually listening to my body. I'm listening to when I'm hungry, eating slowly, not just scarfing food down in front of a screen. Like, and I've done all the things. I've done the Weight Watchers and the Nooms. I have no interest in that. So I shan't be doing that. But yeah, really focusing on additive things and like making sure I'm like adding in my vitamin D now that the days are getting short, like adding my vitamins back in, making sure I'm taking my meds every day, like really just focusing on like what I can be doing and what I should be eating, rather than being like no booze, no sugar, no this, no that. Like I really don't want this to be restrictive. I am going to also make more of an effort to introduce movement and exercise a little bit more again, but that's also a little sticky with me, like with my health issues. I am not perfectly able-bodied. There's a lot of exercise that I cannot do, and even walking I have to be careful of. I'm really fortunate that I'm in a season right now where I'm mobile and I'm able to, you know, walk, but even that has limits. I'm not the kind of person who can set really extreme dramatic fitness goals, or who can work out for 90 minutes a day. Like I am physically incapable of doing that. And even with step goals, I have to be careful, because I've done that in the past where I've set, you know, like a 10,000 step a day goal and then like completely thrown myself into a huge flare up. So won't be doing that, but I am going to keep an eye on my steps and just make sure I'm getting up and about every day. I walk Lexi 3 times a day. So that's already something I think that I'm doing relatively well. But there have been days, you know, like over the last few weeks where I've also actually been adding a 4th walk just by myself. When I leave her at home. It's nothing super crazy, but like I'll just go do a couple passes around the block or whatever, just to get some extra steps in and be able to get my heart rate up a little bit more in the middle of the workday, you know, just get outside midday so that I can stretch my legs and get some air and get some steps. And so if that feels sustainable to me, if it feels like my body is responding to that okay, I'll continue to do that, and I'll keep adding steps, you know, really gradually. I will also start to slowly introduce like maybe some light workouts like 2 or 3 times a week. I really like Yoga with Adriene. I really like Sydney Cummings. They both have like great little 10-15 minute videos you can do. So just like doing a little yoga workout, doing a little 10-minute abs workout, things like that. I think that's like a really nice gentle way to kind of get back into exercising and doing it in a way where it's sustainable for me and it's not going to aggravate my health. So that is what I have planned for my very gentle winter arc. Please let me know in the comments if you're also doing a winter arc and how you are approaching yours. I would love to hear it and connect with you other people who are also trying to like end the year off on a really good note. So let me know below, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.